So Emil Reynolds is the founder and managing member for Combat Bound. He was an Army Ranger and earned his undergrad degree from the University of Maryland in College Park and later his MPS from Penn State University. And his military experience enabled to understand the needs and to visualize and conceptualize innovative technologies revolving around lethality, protection, and rescue. And with him today is Paul Meyer, and he's a partner with Ash Business Advisory and currently serves as CEO of 55 Industries, which is one of Ash Business portfolio companies in the aerospace parts and manufacturing sector. So Paul is a 1988 graduate of the Air Force Academy, former commandant of the Air Force Test Pilot School, and a current United Airlines flight officer. So I want to thank both of you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing more about Combat Bound.
Thank you, Jake. My name is Paul Meyer. I'm one of the Ash Business Advisory Partners. Ash Biz is a team of experienced business executives, CEOs, and other industries leaders who are led by 4 partners and have been friends for 35 years since we were all at the Air Force Academy. Ash Biz invests in and incubates and accelerates small to mid-sized companies. We have invested in Combat Bound and wanted to present what we believe is a fantastic business opportunity for the members of Localvest and the Localvest network. Having said that, I'd like to take the pleasure to introduce the CEO of Combat Bound, Emil Reynolds.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. My name is Emil Reynolds, founder and CEO of Combat Bound. Thank you for your interest and for joining us today. So we're warfighters, supporting warfighters, addressing gaps, seams, and redundancies we faced while in uniform, and then later as government civilians and contractors. We use our deployed combat experience to inspire our innovations, and we've been doing so for several years now. Next slide. So this is who and what we are. We're a technology and services company focused on defense and first response with an emphasis on rescue, lethality, and protection. We're certified as a SDVOSB for federal set-aside opportunities and have similar certification with Virginia. We're also minority-owned certified. So you'll see in the brief, we aren't a one-trick pony, and we focus on problems both here and abroad that support the interests of the United States and our partners. Your opportunity to become a part of Combat Bound as an investor is why we're talking today. We're executing a $3 million Series A raise for 15% equity of the company with economic rights equal to the founder's shares. These 2 systems that you see on the slide are the main focus of the brief, since the capital raise is intended to bring these 2 innovations to market on the heels of recent successes for both of them. You'll see that the Puka addresses protection and lethality, and the Rescue addresses rescue and protection, both enabling multifunctional use and a decrease in cognitive and physical loads. Next. So starting with our Puka, our electronic warfare capability, really what we saw was that individual warfighters and small teams could not fight effectively in the EW spectrum with evolving threats, especially in near peer and peer environments. And with the current state of things in the world, we'll probably be seeing that kind of conflict soon. So current EW systems are expensive, heavy, they require specialized training to operate, and they do not provide protection down to small teams. At the smallest, you're still looking at an assault pack full of equipment. Fighting in the EM spectrum means detecting and classifying enemy signals, locating the source, and then fighting, and then attacking with cyber, electronic, and kinetic weapons. So the maneuver community has called for a cyber grenade for around 10 years. I know this because I was there when the initial argument happened between the Maneuver Center of Excellence and the Cyber Center of Excellence. The Puka is the closest technology has come to it, and even platforms in use by the special operations community globally have not come close in form factor and capability. In fact, if units were available, sales would have started last year to SOCOM, followed by Canadian Special Operations. So our solution, called the Puka, began in my garage with commercial parts in 2016, where I built the first prototypes, combining passive detection, multi-band RCIED, and signal jamming man-pack systems with a size goal of fitting into an existing issued pouch. So if you look at the bottom right, or excuse me, if you look at the center in the smaller pictures, that's a canteen pouch, and it fit in there. The initial versions fit in there with plenty of room to spare. It's since evolved into this multifunctional software-defined platform that has excited special forces operators around the globe. We're on the 4th version of this design, and with the Puka, we're bringing a new weapon to market that changes the nature of warfare and mission planning. So picture this, during operations in Ukraine, or really anywhere, they could use Pukas in its small form factor to protect troops from IEDs, find the enemy, directionally jam them, hack their communications, and then hit their safe house or wherever they may be. On the model, the gray patches show the placement of antennas. So these antennas are key to the Puka's multiple functions, multiple modes, and its ability to maintain mission configurable status. It's important to note, though, that you don't need to carry all of these antennas at the same time, so you save weight. It's configurable based on what your mission set is. Multiple Pukas can work together and will fully integrate into today's tactical networks and also support operational and strategic command and control needs. From this capital raise, we'll create a minimum viable product that our special operations friends can use in combat validations in the field. And that minimum viable product, because it's software defined, will let us create Puka in form factors for any platform, including drones, robots, tanks, etc. So we detect and locate the enemy first, take out their comms. The software defined system also enables custom capability suites, such as detection and direction finding for civilian search and rescue, disaster relief, and sensitive site security. Moving into the next slide. Here we've got the immediate combat casualty extraction. So we saw a need for this capability firsthand in multiple types of environments in Afghanistan, Iraq, Africa, and Southeast Asia, where we've all deployed. How combat effective do these teams look? So if you look in these photos, the one on the left is actually a photo of CASEVAC training during the Special Forces medic course at Fort Liberty. And you're still looking at a 2-person drag with the inability to keep both hands on your weapon. Next slide. So when we started working this, the goal was and remains casualty extraction with one person who can still use their weapon instead of 2 or more that become combat ineffective. The goal is to get that casualty out of harm's way as quickly as possible with the least amount of cognitive and physical load. That's why our rescue litter can be broken down and used in its parts or as a whole system. So that means you can use the leads to drag somebody out. You don't have to deploy the entire litter. It's METTC responsive. And if you're not familiar with that acronym, it's mission, enemy, troops, terrain, time, and civilians. For commercial applications, we've got interest from outdoorsmen, search and rescue, asset recovery teams, and office building evacuation as well. Next. So our awards and irons in the fire. We've won 2 SBIRs and executed them. Well, we executed the first one for the rescue. We're in the middle of executing the second one for the Puka. If you're not familiar with SBIRs, it's like Shark Tank for DoD with generally a 10% or lower win rate. A phase 1 win is also justification for a US government-wide sole source contract. The 2 Air Force phase 2s we're pursuing are each worth $1.25 million, and the funding support product development, testing, certification, and commercialization. Awardee notifications are expected in August and December. We've also been doing cyber operations and cybersecurity support since 2021. Revenue right now is about $650K per quarter. We've been supporting NSA and Cybercom up at Fort Meade. We also recently won a NATO contract for our services division on the use of synthetic environment for cyberspace exercises. Our partner in that says their feasibility studies are usually a gateway for follow-on support designed around study results. And we've got 2 proposals in to support that for follow-on work. This April, I got to do a trade mission to the Philippines. We're working on 2 programs at their request. Matter of fact, the proposals just went in this week. And through an acquisition contract in India, we've responded with proposals to provide capabilities and services to their MOD, including but not limited to both the Puka and the rescue. Next slide. So here we have a slide breakdown. I know it looks like a pizza, but at the top left are our current customers. And then we've got a section for our advisors and mentors. We've got our Puka partners listed, our rescue partners listed. SEI kind of treads the middle between those two. We've got our innovation partners, and we've also got our service and software partners. So this is a majority of the folks that we work with, but not all of them. Our partners are typically multifaceted that aren't just in one quadrant. And we're happy to provide introductions to anybody here that sees somebody they want to work with. This is team sport for small businesses, especially within DoD, that ultimately benefits both business and our warfighters. So for a small company like us, we recognize that a big one could swallow us up for our intellectual properties, such as Puka. And as you see, we're working with a couple of big companies already. And we're good with that, as long as the deal covers everyone's interests. So this is our leadership team. We've got decades of warfighter experience globally, and we're uniquely poised to take Combat Bound to new heights of success. We're a team of warfighters from different services and government agencies that comprise a diverse pool of talent and experience in not only technical application and development, but major program management and contract management, both within and outside of DoD. More information is available on the team in follow-up one-on-one meetings and in our PPM.
All right, great, thanks. I have a question for you. I think, you had the leadership group up there. I think that might be our most diverse from the services standpoint. I'm kind of intrigued. How has it worked out having so many different services in one company?
Actually, it's a lot of fun and it's super effective because we're all bringing, our experience from our different backgrounds over time. It's also fun because, we rib each other just like we did back in uniform, based on the different services that we've been in. It's super effective taking the different talents and blending the viewpoints. Frank got used to seeing things from high altitude and always wants the big picture. Lance and John are engineers, so they don't press the I believe button. It's more like prove it button. And Dave and I are just happy we live in houses and aren't sleeping on the ground anymore unless we want to.
Exactly. That totally makes sense. On the product side, you've talked about the raise that you do to really go into development commercialization. So how far away are you from commercializing?
So the major initiatives are based on the fact that the rescue and the Puka are already eligible for federal government-wide non-compete contracts based on the SBIR Accords. But we've got a lot of opportunities, and again, not just CONUS, but OCONUS as well. For the rescue, we've received great feedback from 2 Air Force units, the SEALs and state police SWAT teams, as well as search and rescue teams. And we're working with the Army Medical Center of Excellence as well, to fill the niche between, your typical fold out litters and your SCED. We're already in production for the rescue and are looking to significantly ramp up our manufacturing and begin satisfying demand in new DoD initiatives. For the Puka, the funding will allow us to expedite software coding and prototype assembly, which will allow us to quickly get the initial capability unit in the hands of multiple Air Force and Army units, which have asked for functional systems for a period of time now. Then we'll be able to be in major production and get it all into the hands of units and organizations which have already expressed acquisition desires, among them USASOC and other units within SOCOM and Canadian Special Forces.
I know I have more questions, and some of you probably do too, but we're getting close on time here. So I encourage all of you, if you have any interest in what they've been talking about here for Combat Bound, you got the poll up here. We'll make sure you get connected. Ask those questions one-on-one. It costs you nothing to do it, to go in and find out more about what Combat Bound is doing, because I know there was a lot that you didn't have up there, a chance to learn some more. So thank you very much to to both of you coming in and presenting on Combat Bound.